How's it going, Virgo community? Soul Tigers here with a special story for this wonderful frequency. Alright, let's go ahead and get started. Remember, self-care is the key to combating stress. Virgo, you are on the trajectory at this time to becoming more at home in your energy. Ooh. With this, you will be tested in many ways, whether by people, places, and or things. The key is to anchor down in how you feel, also how you move through the chaos. This is the time to learn a new skill, how to balance the chaos with opening up to the flow of the divine. Ask for help if you need it. Don't be afraid to pray at this time and have that higher up communication. You know, a lot of times I'll pray for clarity. I will pray for patience, but I will also pray for the truth to come out to things as well, especially when you got people doing things behind closed doors they shouldn't be doing, or people operating out of ill intentions. So let's get started. There's a lot going on in our present moment. A little bit's linked to the past. We have something here that is very far, and it has to deal with a far, far past. We need healing energy for this past. What does it have to do with? It has to do with how we deal with extremes that come in towards us. Maybe extremes that we don't know how to handle. And encompassing the Queen of Cups energy. Queen of Cups, she is going to be emotionally stable. She's on the little bit of the younger side when it comes to the different queens that are in the tarot deck. This Queen of Cups will have a little bit of a fresher view, but also flexibility and adaptability when it comes to navigating the inner emotions when it comes to certain extremes, aka chaos. Ooh, this is already starting off very, very interesting. So a few other things that you are not seeing is integration of what? Reunion of souls. I really feel like this is you reuniting with yourself. I feel like there's been some kind of block to yourself that has been put up maybe in this far past, which makes it hard to deal with certain extremes that you've dealt with at one time and continue to deal with throughout your journey, but in different ways. Let's keep going. Definitely with this integration here and this snake here, this is going to be some major transformation type of energy that has to be brought in by others, because Scorpio's house is transformation through relationships. So keep that in mind. Certain people, certain places, certain things that we meet along our journey, they are meant to teach us certain lessons. Sometimes it's in the dark of things, sometimes it's in the light of things, but it's up to you on how you want to handle it. Do you want to handle it from the dark side of the ego, or do you want to learn how to handle things more from the light side of the ego? So something here, what did I say? Grounding. We're confused on how to ground ourselves out, and maybe we need to slow down and open up to the omens that are around us, the omens that are happening. And these omens could be linked to getting a higher view when it comes to things, especially balancing out between the different polarities of things. A lot of times bird of prey in Native American teachings depict the East. The East has to do with new beginnings because it's all the sunrise right there, a new day. So then something here that this is going to be linked to is your psychic development. So for you in specific, Virgo, this has to do with your intuition, but it also has to do with your gut. Being able to trust your gut, being able to trust your intuition, being able to see the signs that are coming in towards you as well. With not having that block up, in a sense, we want to take this block up that you have towards yourself, and we want to open up to the things that you're feeling, the things that you're validating. Because in life, and this is something that I do teach people, or that I do open them up to, is especially when they have a strong intuition, when they're able to read between the lines of things, especially when it comes to energies. It's hard to be somebody who lives so much in your truth, and you deal with people who run from their truths. And a lot of times you can see the intentions behind things, but what this people or this person, this place and a thing are putting on the outside is something different. So this is something that's hard to navigate, and I've talked to others about this, and a lot of times you have to default to your gut. Even if the world is telling you you are wrong. Something I like to tell my son is, even in first responders training, I didn't train to be a first responder, but in my last CPR and first aid training, the responder, the first responder, aka the teacher there, and even when I've worked with other first responders, they always say, trust your gut. Especially when it comes to your safety, feeling safe, or if you need to protect yourself. Don't dissuade from your gut just because of how it's going to look to others on the outside. So this may be something here that we're going to learn how to come in anew with when we are reuniting with ourselves and our gifts. Oh my goodness, this is such a fun introduction. All right, so let's get started with the present. Ancestor, spirit guides, what is it that's going to come out for the present? The Empress, the Queen of Pentacles right here. Oh my goodness gracious. So there's definitely you here. I feel like even in your past, your major goal is always to be a provider, a nurturer, somebody who will hold patience opposed to rushing off right away. Say like the Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords is ready to go. But here you see this Queen of Pentacles. She sits, she's patient, she's going to observe things, and she has a very comfortable energy about her. Something that's hard is when you do sit in this energy, I would say it's almost like a passive energy. Even dealing with certain things, the certain extremes in your life, you're always waiting for something to come in. Maybe this is something to validate you. Maybe something to help you concrete what you're actually feeling, because there could be a little bit of denying how you feel about things. And that is totally okay. We're all human, and throughout our different phases, we're meant to learn how to grow into ourselves, to learn how to be more authentic with ourselves, to empower us, not in a negative way, but in a positive way, to where we can reach our full potential with things, with our purposes, but also being able to get those steps up to higher beliefs. Now, something that's been here in your present is battling. You have to battle a lot of things, whether it's on one side or on the other side of things. And I feel like whether it's people with their actions straightforward to you, or maybe with the actions that they're doing, could be even behind closed doors. Whoever it is, this is a person who could be immature, somebody who hasn't grown fully to their potential type of thing. But this is something that's really hard for you to grasp when it comes to how you overlook things. Something here is you definitely feel when this type of energy comes in that there is no progression, that you have not made progression. But the thing is we have a very stuck energy who doesn't want to progress, that sits here on this other energy, this high priestess energy. This could be when you are going through these different conflicts and people want to make you feel less, make you feel like you don't know what's going on. And this is the thing that also draws up your defenses. Again, because they're wanting to blind you by what they're saying. But we have people who could think that they're trying to match your energy, because we do have the Queen to the King. But again, this energy is not of a good masculine. This masculine, if they were an upright, they are progressive, but this masculine's in reverse. This person is stuck on something, whatever it is. And I don't want to call it out like that, but here we have this Empress handling things and needing to know when to walk away, how to walk away when it comes to certain situations that need to be balanced out, especially when it comes to grounding yourself. How to process this, how to go, how to move when it comes to the emotions of things. But maybe also how you speak out about things. Maybe it's even how you could let things pile up, because there was a lot piled on top of things here. So that's something here too. A lot of people that I've noticed that are really strong in their energy is they are really upfront and forward about things right away. They don't let things slide. And I've noticed even with myself, when you let things slide, when you look the other way, it can be hard to correct the behaviors that you're not liking, that you've looked the other way on for so long. So keep that in mind, Virgo. This is something here that's coming in to help you be able to probably create a little bit of action, but this isn't action in trying to go and keep in conflict with them. This is why this is this way. This is a different action. This is an action where you are able to validate yourself, stand strong in how you feel, be able to be okay with how you feel, and not putting yourself at the end where you're blocking yourself or you're at odds ends with yourself. Because like I said, we're human. We're not meant to be perfect. Yes, we do make mistakes. Yes, we can come off brash, but you have to look at your intentions behind it. What is it that is happening that is pushing you to feel like there are extremes happening like once before? Ooh. So let's continue on this journey into this story. Let's call in our angels of protection. Angels of protection, please help, guide, and keep us safe as we navigate the block here. Oh my goodness, there's quite a little bit of things coming out. I'm hearing that's enough. That is a strong that's enough. All right, so let's start with this past. Ever since you were younger, you want to be more patient. You definitely want to come at things as being a provider of a nurturing, grounded type of energy. And what we have here is this could have been fueled by a nightmare where it was very slow to get out of, very slow to create movement that you needed to do to get out of the fiery chaos that was surrounding you. Maybe it's having a different view when it comes to how you look at others when others are coming in at you. For some reason, if we're in a self-blaming kind of thing, we will put another person who we're having conflicts with, especially if we're emotionally blocked from ourselves, we will put that other person and how they view things, their perspectives, a little bit high on a pedestal. And yet we will sit here and do everything and anything to blame ourselves. And I'm wondering if that's what it is. And this is what the reoccurring nightmare is. That is feeling like the past is kind of happening now in this moment. Maybe it was you waiting for somebody to come in, somebody who was of up higher energy to bring in some type of justice here. And I really feel like that maybe it didn't happen. You know, if anyone was to see what was happening, it was very slow. It was very, very slow, and they kind of just stood in place like a deer in headlights, not knowing what to do, how to move from that. And it's hard when you're surrounded by the certain beliefs because of the different things that you have been through. With this moon energy, this is transcendence energy. So it's definitely you being stuck in one spot and having a certain belief. And maybe it has to do with how you've navigated this journey, especially in the mind. Maybe it's been in a lot more of the dark than the light, because again, there's a lot of thinking that you were at fault or something about what you're doing isn't right, and you're not valid in speaking up. You're not valid in, causing a little chaos when something isn't feeling right to you. And that's okay, because not everybody learns those skills when they are young. This is a part of you evolving into yourself, because you're going to have things that are going to remind you of the past that are going to come up in your moments of now, even in your moments of the future. And it's always a chance to try and rebalance things within you. Let's keep going here. So we have the 9 of Coins. There's a lack of feeling like we have stability. Here's that 5 of Cups. Emotionally drained, not knowing how to create movement. To the 4 of Cups. And then we have the Strength card in reverse. The Strength card is our sun energy, but it is also the soul of self. So right now, the soul of self, and it lands on the omens. It lands on the different signs that you see. It's really hard for you to navigate this, especially when it's coming in ways that other people are not going to validate. That is really hard, because not everybody sees omens, not everybody sees signs, not everybody is trying to get spiritually attuned with themselves either. So this is something that can be very hard to navigate, especially throughout our years in this lifetime. But right here, it's been hard. It has been hard being stuck in one spot, especially when it comes to your emotions and you not feeling successful. Now, this successness comes in the stability that you have. It could be in even the reactions that you have with others. That is okay, because sometimes when we have this chaos and it's reminding us of other things, we can feel so rocked that it feels like the ground is falling from under us and we don't know what to do. Again, that is okay. As long as you can take time to reflect, take time to see why this is being brought to you, what it is that you've been asking to work on from the divine. Because we're not brought these different challenges just to punish us. We're brought these different challenges to grow. And there's something here in this past that still needs a little bit of healing. And I feel like that's you trusting in your gut no matter what other people are telling you. Trusting in the divine, trusting in the flow. Oh my Goodness gracious. All right, let's keep moving, Virgo community. We're going to call in divine and universal energy. What is it that needs to come out for the Virgo community? Wow. I don't do card tricks. I'm telling you, this is how they fly out. This is just, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I have to go through the videos and I have to watch it like over and over to see how some of these cards come out, because it'd be crazy sometimes. I'd be amazed. I will be amazed. And I'm not gonna lie, something here with 2 cards right away I seen as I'm cleansing, or as I was cleansing the deck. And those 2 cards are release and focus. We're having a hard time releasing what has once been, but also knowing when to release certain chaoses that we're dealing with now, creating time of peace for us. This is that over analyzing, always being stuck on what the problem is and trying to sift through to pinpoint the problem. And this makes it hard on how you view yourself, Virgo. And you know what? That's okay. That is okay, because if you're asking to find ways to love yourself more, this is why stuff like this is going to happen, so that you will start to look at yourself differently. Maybe instead of over analyzing this chaos, you start analyzing yourself, how you have been moving, where your intentions are. Is your intentions coming from one where you want to harm people, where you are creating ill will towards others, or are your intentions of protection? Are your intentions of trying to solve things? Are your intentions of trying to be able to move forward in life in a different way? A lot of times we have to go back within and analyze. I just want to tell you, many a times, and this is what I keep hearing, lying, liars. It could be really hard for you to deal with people who lie, who fib, who hide behind the veil. And that is okay. That is okay. You know, in politics, we're surrounded by it. When it comes to a business sense with the different businesses that have the billionaires, we're surrounded by it. If you think about a lot of the deceit that we're surrounded by, it makes sense. And especially if you're focusing on it as well. And I think that's something here, is we need to take our focus a little bit somewhere else when this chaos is happening. Giving time when to analyzing it, but again, giving time when to release it. And that's something that's going to help ground you out, but it's also going to help you integrate lessons. Something that's really neat. Was it Albert Einstein? I want to say this one was the violinist, or that was their hobby. And when they would get stuck on a problem, they realized that their logical mind wasn't gonna be the one to help solve it. So they would actually take a break and they would sit there and play their instrument. And on a scientific level, certain instruments will help highlight and activate the brain in certain hemispheres or certain areas. So by this person doing this, they knew that they were going to give themselves a break in one area to let their mind be able to wander in a different way. And this could be something here for you as well. Me doing this stories, this is something like this for me as well. So it could be, maybe finding a hobby or something that kind of helps. Something that you're not seeing and you're confused on is patience. And something else is beauty. There is beauty in patience. If stuff is happening behind the veil, sometimes you gotta let it happen. You gotta let other people dig their holes, so to say. And you being patient, the beauty in it is you're going to give people plenty of room to do what they need to do. Yes, you are valid to stand up for yourself. Yes, you are valid to protect yourself. But you don't have to be rash about it. You could be patient. Say what you need to say. But again, moving forward from there. A lot of times when we want to go tit for tat with another is because we are dealing with some type of extreme within, trying to hang on to control, controlling another's view, controlling a narrative as well. So when these are happening, maybe another thing that will help out with healing energy is asking yourself, what is it that has me locked onto this? What has my focus here that I feel like maybe there's some need to control things? And that is like also this energy here, not being progressive and being stuck. A part of life is letting things flow within, letting things flow out. And this is how we integrate the many lessons when it comes to the relationships around us. But it's also how we're able to get in touch a little bit more attuned to our intuition, to our gifts, so to say, when it comes to the things that we're filling out. But the thing is, when we deal with this chaos, it is time for us to learn how to get grounded in ourselves. Because all day, every day, you could sit here and wait for somebody to sit here and offer you some kind of justice, some kind of validation. But as you've learned before many a times, that doesn't happen, especially when we're dealing with people who are very immature. And as you know, where all that chaos leads you is feeling weak and being harsh on how you see yourself. Oh. And you know what? Again, that's a part of the human experience. It really is. Because to find that inner peace means that you are going to have to release some stuff, open up to the omens that are happening around you, the things that are feeding your gut feeling, balancing that out within yourself. And instead of having a block to you, being able to reunite with yourself, whether it comes to your mental, your emotional, your physical, your spiritual beings that all harbor within you. And I like this here because this is actually green color here. This is a lot of heart chakra energy. And with heart chakra, especially when we go through the extremes, if we start to close it off, it's holding grudges, it's bitterness, it's lack of empathy. And like I said, when we have that block to ourselves, we will be in that energy with ourselves. So to really encompass this heart energy, to encompass this healing energy, it's forgiveness, it's emotional balance, it's wanting to bring in the goal of harmony, and it's having love and compassion, not just for others in these extremes, but having it for yourself, especially when something isn't feeling right. How's everything going to be done perfect all the time? No. Are you going to make some mistakes? Are you going to upset some people? Yes. That's always what's going to happen, especially if there's certain things going on that you are not okay with. People don't like being called out. People don't like rejection. I can be one of those when it comes to rejection. But I've also made it a goal, last year, to learn how to deal with rejection and understanding that people reject us for many reasons, and it doesn't even have to do anything with us. Oh. What a wonderful story, Virgo. Thank you so much for your time, your energy, and your patience. And don't forget to thank Divine, universal, your angels, your ancestors, and your spirit guides for coming in and helping out with this story. And as always, I hope that you have a most wonderful rest of your day.